No hungry man can eat all the food in a restaurant. You're welcome to this episode. The last one was uh, in the last one I promised to go to page 6 of the same paper, PMP, March 31st to April 2nd. And now we are on page 6. We shall begin with Armstrong, like I promised. Namshi, um, Mr. Armstrong, I am 20 and a student nurse. My man is 30, and we have plans to marry in future. He he possesses all the qualities I want in a future husband. We have known ourselves for 3 months now. This is for young ladies. You may get some experience from it. Paragraph. The problem is that he has not given me anything before. Girls and gifts. eh? Sometimes I want to ask for a gift from him, but I feel very shy. Auntie, do you think I have to ask him, or should I continue to wait? One other problem is the age difference, though he has a baby face, though he has a baby face, full stop. I also look bigger for my age. What do you think? Nefertiti, Accra, Ghana. Or Nefertiti, Accra, Ghana. Auntie Adiza says, this answer coming. Hmm? In my opinion, 3 months is too short. 3 months is so short a time for you to complain about your man. Within this same period, you found him to possess certain qualities you see in a future husband. Don't you think your judgment is a bit premature? Paragraph. Unfortunately, many ladies these days enter into relationships with the sole aim of seeking their material comfort. I wish to challenge you to examine carefully why you enter the relationship. When you perceive yourself that you could also be a giver, it could bring some refreshment into the relationship. Paragraph. My advice is that do not just wait with the aim of receiving. Set an example, and you could do this with a small gift to your man. If you feel bothered about the age difference, you may leave him. However, do take advantage of his baby face and let that work for your relationship. Answer closed. Uh, Contact line. Oh, this is somebody looking for a lost person, a missing person. Let's leave that. Will I harm my wife? That's the next story. Will I harm? Will I harm my wife? Uh, I'm 28, and I was recently diagnosed with obsessive compulsive disorder (OCD in brackets). I've also suffered from anxiety for about 3 years, but never sought out any treatment. My wife just gave birth to our first child. Full stop. While she was in her last trimester, I began to have violent and disturbing thoughts towards her. This leads me into panic attacks. I do not have any rituals that I do except try to rationalize in my head why I have this thought. When I'm not having an episode, I know the thought is irrational. Oh, no, let me take that again. When I'm not having an episode, I know the thought is irrational. Full stop. Has there ever been a case where someone with OCD has actually harmed a family member? Is my wife in any danger? By Nana Miracle, Teifa, Ghana. Mm. Answer, Auntie Adiza says, I'm not aware of a situation in which someone with OCD has harmed a family member, but that doesn't mean it hasn't happened. I recommend that you discuss your questions fully in person with a licensed therapist. Even if you never physically harm your wife, your thoughts and feelings are clearly distressing you and thus can affect your personal and perhaps marital well being. You didn't even mention the kind of treatment you are receiving. Treatment for OCD can consist of psycho of psychoactive medication and stroke or psychotherapy, including behavior therapy aimed at any obsessive compulsive behaviors or rituals. Mm. So OCD means excessive compulsive disorder. Yeah, that's the answer. We now go to the next question, the next thing that bothers people. Mm. The answer may be beneficial to some of us. Mm. And the question may even be a question from some of us. So let's see. I am scared. Should I leave him? Of course, this is from a woman. Mm. My fiance criticizes the way I look. Full stop. When I tell him I don't like it, he gets angry. Oh my God, people have problems. Hmm? He gets angry. Recently, he argued. Oh, sorry. Recently, we argued, and he threw something at me, cursed, and called me horrible names. Afterwards, he was very apologetic. Look at that. Okay, paragraph. Last night, I told him I wanted to go out with him, and he threw a glass, not at me, into bracket, and he threw a glass, not at me. So he just threw a glass away. I tell you, this one hasn't got a husband. Okay, not at me, in brackets. I'm starting to get scared. When I mention leaving, he says I'm giving up on him and starts putting me down. Part of me feels guilty for not wanting to stay and help him so he can have a good life together. So we can have a good life together. Uh, the other part is saying, run fast because he isn't going to change. Full stop. He said he would go to couples. He said he would go to couples couples counseling so he can get his side of the story out. Any suggestion? The writer is Sina Tema. The name is Sina and she's in Tema, Ghana. And there Jesus says, please listen to your fear. He said, please listen to your fear. I suspect it's trying to tell you something. Dash, this man is dangerous. Of course. This man is dangerous. The behavior you describe is emotionally abusive and physically intimidating. There is a chance his violence will escalate. But even if he never hits you, his emotionally abusive behavior and the threat of physical harm implicit in his throwing objects can, can control and manipulate you and cause psychological harm. I very rarely tell clients or people who submit questions what to do because I believe my role is to help people explore their options and come to their own decisions. The exception, however, is when a woman or man in brackets or man is in an abusive relationship, especially one in which the partner is violent And throwing things, even if not directly at you, is a violent act. And throwing things, even if it's not directly at you, is still a violent act. If he picks a glass and then throws it at you because of a comment coming from you, it's not good. So, okay, next paragraph. My advice is for you to end the relationship and do what you can to distance yourself from from and protect yourself from this man. I love it. I love that. Mhm. If your fiance truly wants to tell his side of the story to a counselor, let him do so by himself. If you're reluctant to end the relationship, ask yourself, would I want to have children with this man? Yes, I love this advice. What kind of father would he be? Do I want any children to grow up in a home in which there is emotional and physical violence? Into brackets. Even if the abuse is never directed towards the children, dash, which would probably be a long shot, believe me, it does negatively affect children to witness emotional abuse and violence between parents. Brackets close. If after contemplating these questions you still want to marry him, please do not do so until into brackets or unless you both have had counseling and he has changed his controlling and abusive ways. Otherwise, I'm afraid you may regret it. Of course, she's very much more likely to regret it than to stay in the marriage. Okay, next story is house guest becomes housemaid. House guest becomes housemaid. Let's see what's there. Uh, I helped a young friend in trouble, and he and his young wife ended up living in my home. They are newlyweds, and she's expecting a baby. The idea was to help them out with their situation. First, he could not work because of a legal situation that absorbed most of his time. Now that now that has been solved, but he's been reluctant to begin making a living. He's he doesn't want to he doesn't want to talk about it and gets angry, or he starts talking about starting a business dash which he can't since he has no money. Since he has no money at all. I've been obliged to buy everything for their baby, which will be born in a few days. It seems to me he must have some kind of mental condition. How can I handle this situation? I want him out of my life and my house, but I do not want any violence. Adobia, East Legon, Accra, Ghana. Auntie Adiza says, your situation sadly illustrates the pitfalls that can sometimes arise when one tries to help when one tries to help others in need. Many people are appreciative of such aid or even have trouble accepting it due to pride and would always wish to pay back their kindness as soon as possible. But unfortunately, some people use others others la, others largesse to enable their own irresponsibilities. Largesse here is spelled Largess. Their own largesse to enable their own responsibilities. In those situations, the Good Samaritans can soon find themselves desperately trying to become disentangled from a clinging mess. Paragraph. In situations in which someone has arrived in a household for what was supposed to be a temporary stay but has lengthened into a seemingly never-ending arrangement. It could help to set a date by which the person or persons will need to move out. Communicate that to the party involved. Full stop. And stick with it in capital letters. And stick with it in capital letters. New sentence. The unwilling host can politely remind the guests, into brackets, or tenants, either the guests or tenants, that the arrangement was supposed to be temporary and that they will need to find other living arrangements. Full stop. Paragraph. Keep in mind that it's not in capital letters, that it is not your, the host, in brackets, it is not your duty, the host's duty, to find those other living arrangements. It's the guest's duty. It's the guest. It's the guest's duty. Okay. And you might be prepared. You might be prepared to withstand an onslaught of excuses and exclamations of how could you? So the guest may ask, how could you? Intended to manipulate you into relaxing the edicts. Full stop. But stand firm, and be prepared to set belongings out on the porch, and be prepared to set belongings out on the porch or lawn, and change the locks if need be when the need arises. In your case, I'm concerned that you fear violence may erupt. Full stop. If violence truly is a danger, you may be able to solicit the help of the police in evicting the couples and their baby from your home, into brackets, if the police are not an option. Sorry, into brackets, if the police are not an option, perhaps other friends or adult male relatives could be of assistance to you. Law enforcement personnel or a charitable agency in your community might also be able to refer the couple to a shelter or other resources in your area. Good luck. Next problem. Can't look in people's eyes. Yes, let's go there. It's a short question with a lot of. It's a short question with a lengthy answer. I am 30. I am a 30-year-old woman. I cannot look into people's eyes anymore, especially when they are looking at me. It makes me unhappy. What can I do? See Adabraka Tema, Adabraka Accra, Ghana. So simple question. What can I do? Auntie Adiza says, I can't say for sure what might help what might help without talking with you personally and getting more information about your problem. But I'll mention some thoughts that come to mind in response to your dilemma, which you can pursue. Sorry, which you can peruse and pursue or not. That's in brackets or not, as you feel appropriate. You may be aware that many people consider the eyes to be windows to the soul. Full stop. Looking into another person's eyes can be a very intimate act. We may feel as though we are seeing more of the real person as compared to the mask or persona many of us don for more superficial interactions. And of course, we may feel the other person is also seeing more of us. Full stop. Sometimes we are afraid of what others might see when they look into our eyes, eh, usually because we are uncomfortable or ashamed of some aspect of ourselves. We may be afraid of what we will see reflected in the other's eyes. We may be afraid of what we will see. We may be afraid of what we will see reflected in the other's eyes. We may fear exposure or rejection of the real us, or we might be afraid of seeing love or caring or acceptance in the other's eyes, feeling we don't deserve such kindness, or that it might lead to a more emotional or perhaps physically intimate relationship. If we've been hurt or betrayed in other intimate relationships, into brackets, whether with friends, lovers, or family members, we may be especially reluctant. You mentioned that you could look. You mentioned that you couldn't look into other people's eyes anymore, which implies that you once were able to do so with little or no trouble. One option might be to figure out when when your discomfort started, what was going on in your life at that time? How were you feeling about yourself? How were you feeling about your relationship? You could also try to become more aware of the thoughts, feelings, and beliefs you associate with the behavior. Full stop. Last paragraph. When do you find yourself thinking? When do you find yourself thinking and feeling about yourself? What do you think the other person thinks and feels about you? Once you become more aware of any such beliefs and feelings, you can decide whether they are realistic or need changing. Perhaps they have their roots in some past experiences you no longer wish to have a hold on you. Full stop. If so, you can then work on changing or letting go of them. A professional counselor or therapist might be able to help you to do so. Might be able to help you do so, or help you better understand and address any other reasons for your discomfort. Good luck. Let's proceed to the next page. Now, the next page is still the series, Naked Face, which I've always said they are lengthy and we probably will not be able to go through. The naked face. And the other side of it is messages. So let's jump to page 8. The entrepreneur. Let's see if there's anything interesting here. Tips to get your business airborne. Mm, well, I don't know. I think we can leave that out. Then, be a manager, not a police officer. Yes, I think we can read this. It's interesting. Mm. Be a manager and not a police officer. You can easily find out, you can easily guess what it means. Mm. Maybe not to be too bossy and too inquisitive about your workers. That's my feeling anyway. Okay, be a manager and not a police officer. If you only manage when employees have done something wrong, then it's time to take a closer look at your management style. Here is one such problems. Question. My employees mess up whenever I turn my back. They can't even take a customer phone call. They can't even take a customer phone call properly unless I'm watching. What can I do? Answer. You are a lot more motivated than your employees are. You're a lot more motivated than your employees are, and it's your desire to do good to do good work that gets the job done. What you need to do is share this desire with your employees. Here is what to do. To start with, communicate your information about what needs to be done, especially especially why it should be done that way. I think I remember I read this in those days. Most employees will say their job is, oh, for example, most employees will say their job is, oh, for example, to answer the phone. But most business owners will say the job is really something quite different since you don't get rich by answering a phone. Full stop. Perhaps the real job is to make sure the customers are happy and eager to do business again. Perhaps this scenario sounds familiar, but you said I was just supposed to answer the phone. But you said I was just supposed to answer the phone. In inverted commas. Mm. The employees say, okay. The employees may complain, in inverted commas. But you said I was just supposed to answer the phone. The employee says. Then inverted commas again. You never said anything about making sales. Full stop. Besides, this customer wasn't looking to place an order. She was just complaining about something stupid. Bracket close. Then, from the other side, like what? In other words, stupid like what? You ask with a sinking feeling, knowing full well no customer complaint is stupid if you want to win more business in the future. Uh, Another inverted commas. Well, in inverted commas. Well, the employee goes on. It was just something about a late shipment, but I told them it's not my responsibility. Full stop. Perhaps those things usually show up a day or two later. So I figured if they didn't hear back, it must be okay. Then it might be okay. Okay, then next tip. Sorry, next step. The next step the entrepreneur has to take. Great employees are crucial to the success of any business. Learn the best recruiting and motivating tactics in attracting and rewarding outstanding employees by David Rye. Is it David Rye is spelled Rye? I don't know how to call it, either Rye or Rye. So let me take that again. Learn the best recruiting and motivating techniques in attracting and rewarding outstanding employees by David Rye. I think it's a book. Next time an employee claims, into brackets, that's not my job, stop the bad attitude in its track with these simple steps. If this has ever happened at your business, you know that at this point you'd be steaming, full stop, and somebody will be getting a good dressing down, full stop. But unfortunately, that do bit doesn't do a bit of good. It might even hurt. That's because when things go this way, as they often do, so the manager only gets involved after there's been a lapse. That throws him into the role of a policing behavior, which pushes employees into the role of avoiding the police. Oh my God. In other words, the employee now becomes a police personnel. Hmm? Let me take that again. Uh, that throws him into the role of a policing behavior, which pushes employees into the role of avoiding the police. Paragraph. Let's go back to the strategy that turns employee motivation on. Take a deep breath, kick the waste paper basket if need be, and then explain clearly and politely what you think about when you take customer call call. Full stop. Tell some stories about where good customers came from. Dash. How happy customer referred how, how happy customer referred someone to you, or how an irritating customer you almost but not quite you almost blew off later placed the biggest order you'd ever seen. Full stop. Keep talking about keep talking until you've clearly conveyed your big picture understanding of the lowly customer call. Yes, of the lowly customer call. And then tell the employee how you track your own success. Full stop. Because you do at least informally, because you do at least informally, full stop. For instance, in the example of a customer call, you probably have some criteria one, like one of them, or the first one of them is, have I answered her question or objection to her satisfaction? Two, did it sound like she was smiling by the time she hung up the phone? Three, did I think her, did I thank her for her business and ask if she wanted anything else? Paragraph. When you can answer yes to these questions, then you know you've, you know you're moving toward your goal of a happy customer who will help build your business. And when you communicate this richer understanding of this and when you communicate this richer understanding of task, your employees are more likely to enjoy the pursuit of that of that big picture success too. And they will enjoy the pursuit of that big picture success too. Last paragraph. Nobody is going to be excited about answering a phone. Full stop. Your job as a leader is to transform that lowly activity into the exciting challenge you see in it. When your employees see that challenge through your eyes, they will want to do it well too. Business opportunities, suing for stitching technique, processes in the processes in tie and dye printing equipment, preparation of the VAT dye solution, uh, to dye a maximum length of 6 yards of cloth. Skip that. Okay, we now come to relationships uh, with Auntie Hadiza, and that will be page 9. I think viewers will put that in the fridge for our next episode. Mm. So, in our next episode, God willing, and hopefully, uh, we shall go to page 9, which is about relationships with Auntie Adiza. Which starts with relationship with Auntie Adiza. Then we go to translating man speak, what he is really trying to tell you. I think these are interesting stories. So let's end here. All I can say is thank you very much, viewers. Lalika Ibaba. May God bless you.